Refuge in Allah from the accursed shaitan. It's the final call, so I ring the alarm. I wish I could hear Bilal call the Adhan, cause we in need of prayer, y'all. The questions, can you rise while Babylon falls? The questions, can you rise while Babylon falls?
Don't get bit by ignorance because it's all about sex, not a blind influence. So think about being played fast or wanted an outcast, getting used like some piece of trash. I'm born to destroy it, man.
Assalamu alaikum. I am here, Brother Kamal, and I'm here with a very special guest. He is from Up the Mic. He is from Brothers Gonna Work It Out. He is from Paterson, and I think he represents a few other cities as well. And I'm so happy because, you know, you never could predict what's going to happen in life. And I didn't know when I met him like 25 years ago or so, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know that somehow, and I met him in Inglewood, New Jersey. And I don't know how we ended up meeting up again in Paterson, New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? But it's only the will of God. You know, so I thank you. And this brother's a community activist. He is a poet. He is a rapper. He is a drug addiction counselor. He is a husband. He's a good, great man. He's a servant of God. And I want to welcome him to Bless the Mic, the Kamal Imani show. And again, he's one of the brothers from Brothers Gonna Work It Out. And his brother Malik Dewana. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum assalam, brother Kamal. All right.
How you doing, bro?
I can't complain, man. I'm living, man.
Yes,
you know, I know we're dealing with COVID and all that, you know, and some people are stressed out and depressed, but you know, even in these times, I still got blood flowing through my veins. I got a heartbeat, you know, and I'm functioning. And I'm not gonna act like I'm dead when I'm alive. You know.
That's right. Thank you.
Some of this stuff, you know, what we dealing with now paralyzes some people.
Yes.
You know, it's like a paralyzing fear that they getting from these times that they living in because they feel like, you know, anything could happen at any time. You know, but as long as I'm waking up each day, I'm happy, brother.
Amen.
I got a motto: be happy on purpose.
That's right. That's right. Be happy on purpose. I was thinking about the song I did. We ain't gonna reveal it all, but I was thinking about that song I did like today or yesterday. So we still gotta come together with that, man. For real. You know, I don't want to let that go too far. Yeah. Well, I got so much to say. So much to say. But we'll start off with Up the Mic. Can you tell us what's going on with Up the Mic?
Yes, I'm an affiliate of Up the Mic, which is located in Paterson, New Jersey, far as our main place where it takes place. It's a function that allows rap artists, singers, spoken word artists, all to come together and have a platform for recording and performing together with doing their you know, presenting their talent to the world, you know, presenting their talent amongst each other, exercising in their talent amongst each other. And it's been going on now for about a good, I think, 10 years or more.
Yeah,
you know, but under the guise of Brother Sadiq, you know, he's the founder of this, along with Brother Kamal at one time under a different name. But anyway, Up the Mic has been founded through him with this name. My wife is a co-host along with Brother Sadiq, Sister Sharon, and me, I'm an associate of Up the Mic and an affiliate of Up the Mic, and I go under the name The Warner. I've been under that concept name, The Warner, for like 8 years. It goes back further than that, but I've been pushing now for about 8 years this concept, and it's about people having free will, and all I can do is warn people. All I can do is, try to say some words that provoke some analytical thinking. People are open-minded that they'll want to turn their lives around and so forth. And I'm just a warner, the warner.
Right.
That's it. Simple.
Right. Do you find that a lot of people are in the matrix, meaning like the devil makes good look bad and bad look good, and so they get a little confused?
Yes. I believe in the devil.
Right.
I believe in a creator, a higher being, above our being,
Right.
And I believe the real devil is behind all of this. I believe people could take on characteristics of the devil, but I believe there's a real devil, of a form, just like we don't see air, but we breathe in it, and without it, we wouldn't be here. There's other forces and elements in the equation that we don't fully comprehend.
Right. I've heard that some Satanists, they actually pray for like car accidents and stuff like that. A group of people just wishing malintent on people. So this is what I love about Islam, and this is what I love about you and Sadiq and Imam Pasha, rest in peace. Because even though a lot of us came through the church, and the church has served great functions, the Underground Railroad, and helping us just heal and deal with the trauma of slavery and Jim Crow and stuff. What I've noticed recently is like a lot of Muslims know both sides, but a lot of Christians don't, unfortunately, know both sides. And the vibration of Islam in America, especially our Islam, is so soothing and so healing. And I just wish everyone could get a taste of it. And when I speak with brothers like yourself, I always feel that good spirit and that good vibe that comes straight from the heart, and it's very pure.
I know this much about the evils, that there are esoteric societies, esoteric groups. Some they got all types of practices that they have in the esoteric societies and esoteric groups, and one of them is to keep people, messed up in the head. If you want to call them ignorant, whatever the case may be, they mix up a part of like our heritage and our culture coming from Africa to America and getting here. Is we've been robbed of a true identity, and then we've been given an identity that's not our own. Some of us don't know. Some of us are just like Bugs Bunny in the cartoon, when he zipped the suit down and there's another him underneath, and he zipped the suit down, there's another him underneath, he zipped the suit down, because of the teachings. We've been given falsehood and truth, falsehood and truth, falsehood and truth. And a lot of this calls for deep study to get to practical knowledge, where like our elders, they tend to say common sense ain't common anymore.
Right.
Because some people so smart, they show that they stupid.
Right.
They do things that make you, like Arsenio Hall used to say, things that make you go, make you scratch your head, because they supposed to be so smart, then you find out they in the paper for doing something that you had common sense, not to do, and somewhere they put their common sense on the shelf,
Right.
And we have to be careful out here.
I was telling my students today, some of them, I was telling them how a lot of students in schools all over the place say, oh, this teacher ain't a good teacher, this school ain't a good school, and I tell them, you got to read the books. The books are there. The teacher don't got to make you read the books. If you read the books, you become a master at a certain subject, you're good. And I think a lot of us don't read, and even the Quran says read.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's reading. It's reading along with studying. And yes, you're right. Yeah.
So with up the mic, tell them about the recent event that you had, because you was telling me off camera, and that sounded so great. I wish I never would have missed that one. But tell them what went down.
Yeah. Yes, we just had an event last month. I believe it was on the 29th of last month, and not the month before last, not October, but September the 29th. It was held at the Islamic Center in Paterson, which is on 245 Broadway. In the back, there's a cultural center there, and we cross the street from the Paterson Free Public Library. We had an event back there. It was a family day / up the mic event.
Nice.
Where artists came out from all over, Teaneck, Essex County, Newark, New Jersey. Some came from New York. And it was a very successful event. You know, we had ponies out there for children to ride on. We fed the whole community, gave out book bags, not so much for children to go back to school, but just for children to have the book bags. And then in the book bags, we gave them everything: pencils, crayon, notebook, the whole nine. So even if they're at home and they're not in school, they can play like they're in school. And then the parents can teach them some things, you know. But, you know, the greater good in the atmosphere was what Up the Mic was all about. You know,
nice.
It wasn't about people coming out to show off. It was about people coming out to remove insecurities, really, because, you know, we try to call it Up the Mic because we want to take it to the next level. You know, part of a lot of people that are fearless when it comes to toting a gun, when it comes to living some corrupt lifestyles. You know, it ain't got to be in the hood either. Some people got some corrupt lifestyles that they live that they're fearless. But if you give them a piece of paper to stand up in front of somebody and you say, read this, read this. I'm not getting up there, you know, and it removes the insecurities that a lot of people might not even realize that they have. You know, teach children to be ready to go hunt for jobs and all that, you know, to just, you know, express yourself, you know, because people got notebooks underneath their mattresses that some of them got a gift. You know, they got something special and unique tucked away, and they just don't have the confidence, or, you know, or even maybe the platform, you know, the place to come to and just let people see them.
Know that it's all right. Nobody's gonna boo you, laugh at you.
You
know what I'm saying? We're gonna encourage you. It's funny because I think even experienced lyricists and actors and stuff, they still get that. And I mean, I get it a little bit too. What I mean is, like, I always tell people, somebody could be in the studio freestyling. Okay, I thought we had a little problem. You still didn't get it. Somebody could be freestyling, all of this, and you say, all right, time to record. They start messing up. But you was just rocking, man. Now they gotta do 25 takes. You know what I mean? And if somebody could be say, don't look at the camera when you're an actor. Don't look at the camera. Just be you. Just do your lines and be you. And then everybody doing it, and you say, all right, we caught it. Take 6. And you do you know how to do it. What happened, man? So it's like it's always a learning experience getting in front of people and trying to do creative things and stuff, and it just builds us, you know. But it's good because you become a master after a while, you know, at something, and it's good when you can say, you know what, I know I'm going to do well, you know, in terms of no matter what happens, you're going to execute your plan without getting timid or stiff, you know.
No, I pay attention to myself. I remember in the past, I used to make the mistake and I stop and maybe spoken word or rap or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Now I make a mistake, I keep going.
That's right.
Who know I messed up?
Right.
If I don't show them I messed up, who really knows I messed up?
Exactly.
You know, we do begin to exercise in whatever our craft is to begin to, you know, gain that confidence in that field to be able to keep it moving, you know, because we also human, you know.
Yes.
So human, you know, we want to give your best though, and every time you want to get better.
Right.
Getting better, you begin to give your best.
And what I learned too, and I know this is your interview, but you bringing stuff up out of me. All right. I tell people this all the time. I read a book. It's by Og. It's OG, but it's pronounced Og Mandino. I saw this man on TV recently on the internet, and it's called The Greatest Salesman in the World. And he said, I laugh at the world. He said, no matter what happens, he laughs. He finds the comedy in it. And that's how he's a good salesman. He gets through his day, you know. And I think, and I've learned, I got the ability to laugh at myself. So if I'm on stage, I might just be like, oh my God, I messed up my lines. Let me start over. Can I start over, y'all? And I'll just laugh. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't that serious. And my cousin always says that. It ain't that serious.
That's the real deal. It ain't that serious, man. You know, it's something you like doing, something you're passionate about, something that you can share with the world.
Right.
You know, to me, like they say, laughter is like a medicine. It's a healing. And I believe the same thing about the artistry in all aspects. Right. I don't care what type of art you have. When people recognizing you performing and doing things at your best, you helping others in one way or another. You're helping somebody, you know, because a lot of people are picking up on different things that attracts them. You know, it's like that plate of food. You might not eat the whole plate, but there's certain parts that's there on the plate that you want this, you want that, and if it ain't the way the brother's carrying himself or the sister's carrying herself, it's her articulation, it's her vibe, her style, her swag, you know, it's different things that, you know, really we need to be able to exercise in them, you know, and bring them out and not, you know, it's like from a religious standpoint, it says human beings are created in the image of God. You know, so, you know, and there's certain things pertaining to the light within, you know, and them old spirituals, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. You know, we all have something deep down inside of us that, like, it could be like a little flickering flame, but once it begins to get fanned by others that support them, that encourage them, that flame where it was flickering becomes a light that everybody want to attract to, the warmth of it, you know, the beauty of it. So, you know.
And that's what Up the Mic is all about. That's what Bless the Mic is all about. And, you know, I try to tell the artists that, like, we're here to help you and encourage you. And they don't even see it sometimes. And hopefully the day will come soon when they see it. And hopefully they'll see this and know, like, when you come around us, you come around Up the Mic, you come around the brothers, look, man, we're going to help you. We're building a community and we want you to succeed.
That's right.
Jesus said, use all your talents. So that's all I try to do. Like we was discussing earlier, just he gave it to me, I'm going to use them. You know, and we need them to use their talents.
You know, me in the sense of the Warner concept, you know, which I was inspired by Allah, you know, that isn't of me literally. I was inspired by Allah to begin to write where I used to write negative. And then I just didn't feel right writing negative. And when I began to write positive, it was like things was coming through me, like I was being used as a vessel, you know.
Yes.
And for me, it's simply calling people to right living. You know, doing the right things for the right reasons.
Right.
Doing the right thing, followed by the next right thing, followed by the next right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with the lesser evils of this world. You know, not just how American standards talk about fight fire with fire, fight fire with water.
Mm.
Then if needed, fire with fire. But first, try to put the fire out, you know, amongst people of all nationalities, of in all situations. Don't stay stuck in a problem, but come together to hopefully communicate and work towards solutions, not in a selfish sense as some adults may be, but in a way that we're helping our youth and we're helping our elderly, because it's a lot of us, you know, that today in this day and time, all we see is what we want. You know, we only want to make ourselves understood. We don't want to come to understand. And to me, that's what life is about. That life, you know, is certain things that if we don't stay open-minded and remain teachable, and we start thinking we know it all, we setting ourselves up for failure. It's just a matter of time before we're going to ignore the signs, because we, you know, life to me sends things your way that you got to begin to pay good attention to, especially in this day and time. You know, that, you know, we, in order to be successful, in order to make it back home, in order to, you got to do things a certain way.
Yes.
It's a certain way you got to carry yourself in this world. You know, even the baddest guy in this world, you know, he can get deflated. You know, I don't care who he is, he can get deflated. They got ways of, you know, letting the air out of that. That if it pumped up like a basketball and so on, they got ways to letting the air. There's more than one way to skin a cat. So on. You know, I think beginning to recognize what we have in each other as people in general, and the people that you have in your circle, you know, jobs could get done, because then if we're in support of each other, it's just like a family. If a family only go for self, one individual for themselves, that's difficult. We got ceilings over our heads. We got walls in front of us, but we can go beyond the ceiling and we can get over the wall if we begin to support each other. In other words, I could put my son on my shoulder, this family member, and all of us as a collective people, we begin to support each other. No, ain't no ceiling that we can't reach, because we begin to support each other. We begin to reach for whatever we want to reach for collectively, where I can't do it by myself.
So what do Black people have to get out of their system in order to get that, to achieve that?
I believe there's a lot of ills in this world, me speaking personally, you know, that if people are too prideful, people feel they know it all, and people don't be able to learn from mistakes, you know. It's like I got a post on my page. You know, I got a page on Facebook, and I got a post on there. It says, if it wasn't for my failures, I would be a failure. You know, it's things that I learned in life that I didn't like it while I was going through it. I was like, God, why this got to be happening to me? All that type of stuff. But the lesson that I learned afterwards was greater than all the lessons that I learned in the good times that I was having.
That's right.
You know, the lessons in them hard times where I thought, like, you know, I didn't deserve this and so, but when I got to the other side and looked back and said, whoa, the strength it gave me, you know, and for us as men, you know, there's certain scriptural ordinances that talk about the trials and tribulations and things like iron sharpens iron. You know, when we're not big-headed, they say, those who are best to be successful amongst the men are those who can join in right counsel, who sit down amongst other men. Each one teach one, so on and so forth. Not because once we think we know it all, we setting ourselves up for failure. You know? Once we start thinking we know it all, we cocky, we big-headed, and so on. You know, me, I get out of the way. I get out of the way, you know, of some people, because that's just where they're at. You know, they say some people have to die in order for others to live. I'm not saying that about anybody. I'm just saying in general that it's good to keep an open mind and remain teachable and Be like
Right.
that blade of grass. Be like that blade of grass, not that oak tree that when the elements come, it gets ripped out of the ground. They talk about the proud man is like the oak tree. When the wind blow, the oak tree can get ripped clean up out of the ground. The wise man or the more mature or understanding wisdom and understanding man is like a palm tree. You see the top of a palm tree come all the way down, touch the ground, and after the wind stopped blowing, it popped back up, you know. And we have to, you know, recognize certain elements, you know, that's around us. You know?
What was your main attribute?
More than anything, Kamal,
Pardon? What happened? That's crazy. My doorbell rang, but we froze. That was weird. You still there? You can hear me?
I'm here.
All right.
Yeah, I'm here.
If you're speaking in a minute, I might mute this because we got some food coming. That's all. So they're gonna go pick up the food. But so that might be a little distraction. But you know, I was gonna ask you what was some of the attributes, or I'm not even sure the word to use, but what helped you to get to where you are in life, like spiritually?
Well, again, I had a lot of things happen as far as me and losing my, I want to say, innocence. You know, a lot of things I began to do was like it was me going against the things that I said I would never do. I started doing those things where I said I'd never do this, I'll never do that, you know. And I didn't realize, me not being true to myself, how much that was going to affect me down the road, you know. And some of it was innocent, you know, some of it was simple stuff like, you know, getting a fake ID and going into a place, you know, whatever the case may be, trying to act older than what I actually am and so on. And it's a lot of things that I wound up, I want to say also with growing up in my environment that I grew up in Paterson, that, you know, I feel children should be protected from some of the things that I got to see and had to go through. You know, I don't know if you ever read a book by Claude Brown called Man, Child in a Promised Land.
I heard of it,
and
but
it speaks about a very powerful book. It's about a young boy who gets shot at the age of 14 and almost died, but he grew up in a bad environment. But it talks about a child being like it's about a child that's dealing with things like an adult.
Right.
Growing up, wound up in jail and all. And similarly, you know, I realized over time that I was untrue to myself, and a lot of my innocence got lost. And I started searching, and when I started searching, it was a lot of people that I was coming in contact with that I recognized wasn't all that sincere. You know, where I was looking to get guidance and all that, I ran into a lot of deceivers. But then at the same time, it was certain ones that I was running into that was giving me information, but then I had to realize that I could only listen to but so much. So I started studying, you know, started reading the Quran. I read books like What They Never Told You in History Class, From Darkness to Light. On one side, it has a face with a tear in the eye, and then another side, it have a face with a light coming out of the eye. From Darkness to Light, What They Never Told You in History Class. I read books like Stolen Legacy and so on, you know, and I also got involved in self-help things that began to let me know that I had lost my integrity. You know, I had become like a leaf in the wind. You know, I was more of a follower actually than I was in my own mind. You know, I thought I was like a rebel without a cause, and in my mind, I was a leader, but I really wasn't. I was more of a follower and a leaf in the wind. And I had to in these readings, I began to see that I needed to have my own ethics, my own morals, my own beliefs, that I won't be wishy-washy, that I won't be this leaf like literally in the wind, and begin to carve my way with my own personal integrity, who I am, what I stand for, what I believe in, what I'll accept, what I won't accept, and so on, you know, to have a direction in life, you know. And over time, I want to say, gain what is internal manageability. I believe outward unmanageability comes from inward unmanageability.
That's
If a
right.
person ain't got their house in their internal house, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I've seen your video taking out the trash, you know. If a
Mm-hmm.
person ain't got their internal house in order, a lot of the stuff in around them is going to be out of order.
True.
But when they get that temple in order, knowledge
Mm-hmm.
of self, get an understanding of who
Mm-hmm.
they are and what it is they stand for, what they don't, you know, and not let this society that we in and the things in this society take us away from ourselves, because after a while, that's what it be, you know.
Right.
And once I began to accomplish things and do things that was important to me, it was just like the bucket list. It was just like the bucket list, you know. I was checking things off. And the more I was checking things off, the more I was happy with myself, you know, in my life. And in this day and
Sorry, brother, I
time,
got interrupted. Go ahead.
all right. In this
Go
day and
ahead.
time, I think that's the key thing, you know, for me. And I believe that's the key thing that most people should pay attention to, that, you know, they got to define their life. You know, they got to define who they are. They got to look inside themselves, you know, and me, that's where I'm at, you know.
Right, I understand. I never seen you being a follower. I never thought of you being a follower. Since I met you, I always saw the leadership in you. So that's interesting. But also, like, who led you to the Quran? Who led you to, like, the Afrocentric books?
I seen other people, or I came in contact. One of my brothers, he was in the first resurrection. My brother, he passed away. His name is Najee Fuquan Akbar. He was known as Randolph Gaskin in Paterson. He passed away. He led me to Islam, but I didn't embrace Islam then. You know, over time, I got incarcerated. I sat in jail, and I was curious. So I said, I'm gonna open this book up and see if what it's like, you know. And I had a lot of people coming at me with Islam, but I didn't choose Islam until I began to read, you know. And when I began to read, it was like light bulbs started coming on. I mean, practical understanding, practical beliefs, that really, these practical beliefs made me feel like I was standing on rock. You know, where in my understanding, I felt like I was a little bit on shaky ground. I was no longer on shaky ground. The more studying and the more practical information I began to take in, you know, and it gave me a footing of knowledge, and I want to say a seat in a way of knowledge, where I stand strong on who I am and what I believe in, and I'm comfortable in the knowledge that I've gained and
Right.
who I am and what I believe in, you know. And, you know, to me, encouragement for all people, like, women nurture other women. They talk a lot. Men have to get to that point, especially African-American men, where we could talk more and not just want to make ourselves understood, but begin to try to understand each other. Let the communication be a two-way street. And in that being said, you know, we lack the like, when we don't pay each other attention, to me, we lack the love, you know, or the showing of even care, you know, towards each other, which stops us from having unity.
Right.
You know, and we need that. We need, I think I was talking to you about that earlier, that, you know, my thing is based on love, unity, and solidarity. You know, solidarity is us becoming like a brick wall, you know, of what it is we stand for, like the fence or the brick wall that protects, you know, a solid brick wall that protects what we say we about, what we, other nationalities are that way. You know, Chinese and Hispanics, and they got solidarity. They like a brick wall, like a fence around their garden of their babies, of their elderly, and all that. And we gotta get there as men, quote unquote, men and women, quote unquote, women. Where there's a lot of misinformation out here that has taken that from us. Where it ain't all about talking the talk anymore. It's more about talking it, but also walking it, because actions always speak louder than words. They always do.
When you said misunderstandings, I wanted to ask you about that, because I think being that our families, I guess the difference between us and the other communities, our families were broken down, and therefore we lack that unity. And I know that Islam brings us unity, right? But people come at you with, or come at us with, oh, that's an Arab religion, and we got that through conquering. And I'm like, I really wish they would know, well, the true history, that, the original Arabs were Black anyway, but that's not even the point. The point is that the beauty of Islam, if they was ever around, it is such a unifying religion and unifying feeling, and that's what we need, and I'm just saying, that's the glue. And as long as they want to believe all this other stuff, then the unity won't be there,
A lot of people don't understand Islam, period.
Right.
And I mean going all the way back to Africa. Even with the movie Roots and Alex Haley, and in the beginning, they hold the baby up in the air, and they saying Allahu Akbar, and the baby calling the Adhan, and so on. A lot of people don't understand, before it was on the Arabian continent, it was already in Africa, this belief system of what they call monotheism, one God. And to me, personally, it's the source of consciousness that some people can plug into and some people can't. All the books, to me, if we study, we find out the Jewish Torah, the Bible, and the Quran, the principles are the same, because they connect you to one God. And if we really, I'm not talking about these other writings where people have tampered with the writings, but true. If we can make the connection where we understand that it's just about connecting with this one creator, it's like when you've been unplugged, or electronic item is unplugged from the wall, we find ourselves plugging in to something of a greater force in this world that it's undescribable. Some people talk about this and some people don't. It's Jesus, mercy, blessings, and peace be upon him, in the Bible. He said the only reason why I came into the world is to cast out the seeds. He says some of the seeds landed on rock. The hard-hearted, the hard-headed. They wouldn't listen, they wouldn't pay attention, and they wouldn't let it take hold in their breasts. So when the storms came, it washed the seeds away, because it was like they couldn't grow on the rock, hard-hearted and hard-headed. The other seeds landed in soil where it was mixed, it began to grow, but it was mixed in with weeds, those seeds. This is what Jesus said. This is only purpose, just to throw out that knowledge. Just to plant them seeds. He says some landed in soil where they began to grow, but they were mixed in with weeds. So where they began to blossom and bloom into a human being, the natural person that God wanted them to be, or they were always meant to be, the good that they tried to bring forth, they had these doubtful ones, which are like weeds that choke the good out of them. You say good morning, they say, what the heck's so good about it? All those types of things, similar things, that you got a good nature and they kill your good nature and you can't get away from them. So they mixed in with the weeds. And then the other ones landed in fertile soil, where when the seeds began to grow, because they were of like kind, You've seen all the variety. You've seen apple, peaches, pears, oranges, lettuce, tomatoes, grapefruit, corn, all meaning different nationalities. When they all standing upon what it is God wants them to stand, plain and simply, just the greater good. What God wants for all human beings, because he put us on this planet, we flourish just like that garden. All the different nationalities, all the different belief systems, skin colors, coming from different continents, because we come under what God tell us to come up under. Don't matter. Well, if a person choose, I'm not one to tell nobody, because we're given free will what faith to choose. Me, I choose Islam. I would try to propagate it to others, but I'm not going to try to use my belief system as a weapon. Like with other belief systems where they all brought forth to bring forth good. And I say all that to say this, that there's things in this world, or there's beliefs and there's things in this world that have been put in place to keep a lot of us away from making that connection. You know, it's a lot of misinformation. Truth is mixed in with falsehood. It's like believing in Santa Claus, like in the sense where we know if we don't work a job and we don't bust our butt and save that money and get whatever it is we need for our children, ain't nobody coming down our chimney with a red and white suit on and bringing nothing into our home. And it's the same thing with Superman. Ain't nobody flying down out of the sky to rescue us if we don't throw our own cape on. You know, some of us have been given misinformation and knowledge that it sounds so silly and practical, but it got people in a mindset that's detached from reality. You know, where men are men, women are women, people are people. That man could defend his life if somebody tried to take it. You're going to tell me, no, I shouldn't defend. You know, it's many different teachings. You know, when we go back to the Bible, it says that we are the slaves. You know, it taught us. It's many books, there's many, you know, things coming out now that lets us know this. You know, and going back to roots, Kunta Kinte. You know, the symbolism behind Kunta Kinte and Toby is that they whipped Kunta Kinte until he was no longer Kunta Kinte. And they turned him into Toby. And today we got a lot of modern day Tobys. Right now, in this world right now, we got a lot of modern day Tobys. We have we got a lot of, like I was telling you about Bugs Bunny, zip the suit down, another him. We got to go back to our culture, to our heritage, to our roots and study. Otherwise, we layered with lies and part truth and lies. And that's why so many people's brains are tied in knots. Well, when it comes to practical understanding, as a man, as a woman, to believe in you, you know, there's so much symbolism that's out here in this world that, you know, it's sad, you know. It's really
I really like that analogy. I never thought of that with Kunta Kinte and Toby like that, because I see all the Tobys out here. That's why I was like, y'all need to at least know Islam. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna force nobody, but at least know it. I think it will help a lot of our people. And not just Islam, it's like a real education, you know, almost every religion, you know, some Buddhism, Taoism, you know what I'm saying? And get the basic truths and everything, and not be mad at nobody, you know. And
two statements that are very powerful.
Pardon?
Harriet Tubman. She said she could have freed many more slaves. If only they knew that they were slaves. El Hajj Malik Shabazz, better known as Malcolm X. May God have mercy on him and be pleased with him. He said that we're gonna be at a point where we're gonna be loving our enemies and hating our saviors. And right now it's that way. We got a truth that be in front of us that's stranger than fiction to most of us. Back to the Bible, the Quran, and the Jewish Torah. All three books say the exact same thing. Some gonna have eyes, but they won't see. Some gonna have ears, but but they won't hear. You know, when it comes down to the truth, some people, it's like they've been in darkness for so long. It's like being in a room, and when your light get clicked on, it can be like the sun almost, the truth being revealed. It can be like the sun, and we know it hurt our eyes. It hurt us internally. You know, break some of us down, you know, but if we don't face this truth for ourselves, if we don't face this truth, then, you know, we could be walking around in terminologies that they speak about with our eyes wide shut. Talking about I know, and really not know, you know. It's them saying that some of us, we don't know that we don't know that we don't know. And the worst of us are the ones that are like that, and then when you talking to them, they say, I know, or they think they know. They don't know that they don't know that they don't know. And yet, here they are thinking they know. You know?
Erykah Badu said something like that, right? On and on. She said something like, the man who knows something knows that he knows nothing at all. Yeah.
And some of us get stuck on the messenger.
Right.
Because he's not coming how we want him to come. We don't want to hear nothing he got to say. Because he might have big feet. His breath might stink a little bit, you know. He might be buck too, you know. I don't know, you know. But he might be bringing you a check.
Right.
I mean, like, is that going to get in the way of you getting this knowledge or getting what God, they say God can send angels in disguise in the form of human beings or saviors in the form of human beings that we'll be turning our savior away because we like looking at what he got on or whatever. You know, he's not my cup of tea and all this type of stuff, but you never even listen to one word out of the person's mouth and already you done judge the book by the cover, or we done judge the book by the cover. You gotta be careful.
On a mundane, earthly level, I said to a sister once, I said, excuse me, you know, nice looking sister, so look like a little model, teenage girl. I was gonna give her a flyer to the event in Teaneck. You know what I'm saying? She would be promoted on internet and all of that. And I said, excuse me, nah, I want to hear, huh? I said, but you don't even know what I have. I don't care what you have. It's like, wow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I want to say, if you don't mind, a few bars from a couple of my
I love it.
All right. This is just a few of the bars from Pieces of a Dream.
You know what?
It says, shine the light for a child to grow, in depth slow, for their mental capacity of mind will then grow. When necessities recreate, then this whole world comes in place, and we'll start feeling great because love will regenerate. Now, I'm not taking charge. Keep it simple. Give praise to God. Somewhere we got to start, and the future begins in heart. Meaning change our hearts. Pieces of a dream, pieces of a dream, pieces of a dream. Take heed, I plead for the next seed. Pieces of a dream, pieces of a dream, pieces of a dream. Take heed, I plead for the next seed. We talk about our babies or our future. Well, if things is bad for them, then we're looking at the future. And we're the adults that's supposed to make it right for that next generation. And we see how bad it is for them. We got a job, and a lot of us are not living up to that. I want to say a little verse out of another one called "The Glow."
Okay.
Goes, woman and child, stop living wild. Man came out the jungle, and our lives are a trial. God sees what we're giving and sees how we're living. If we consume like a pig, then the hell will be driven. Don't be speeding in the fast lane. Life is a cherished game. Now, if you hear the call, then you know why I came. Formulated is the glow. So now, meaning work on yourself. Formulated is the glow, meaning take your time at home, have a war room, work on yourself, and let the real you shine. Not be about like other people. Not try to be Jay-Z, Beyonce, and let you shine. Is formulated as the glow. Read, pray, study, whatever, meditate, whatever. And then here's one more. It's called life's a turntable, because it's like people talk about karma. Other people say, same way you laugh, Same thing that make you laugh is the same thing that can make you cry.
That's right.
You know, we'll do it to other people, and then when it comes back to us, we crying, we laughing at other people. But anyway, it's called Life's the Turntable. It goes, life's for real men, soldiers who are militant, civilized, protecting kids, not caught up in ignorance. You don't like a family man. You don't know how to be a man. You're barks without a bite, living only for talking trash. Temptation will come your way. That's each and every day. Ignorantly, you still play like sin's a good game. Many will just die while others keep skating by. Stop this. We're living a lie because it's reality time. It's sickening. We love sin. Sad when our life is spent. Is death what it takes to get it? Or you got a purpose to live? Life's a turntable. Round it takes you. Tempted by the labels of lust and people fables. Look around from block to block. Many, they just jock, moving aimlessly in a flock. They're searching, trying to gain props. Most don't know who they be. They act just like you and me. Not leaders, because they don't see it. And it's a shame how this got to be. Being clones, like the doves, mimicking him and mimicking her. Stereotypes, they're getting ugly, make my eyes become a blur. I see you, and you see me, on the outside or internally. Validation ain't in the streets. Hear the guns, that's how they burn. Ignorantly, they don't learn. Because one more nerve hit one more word hits that last nerve in his blood running along the curve. Check the time or check yourself, making it heaven or making it hell. It's your soul you're about to sell. Life's to live, like you don't know. Better not waste it, you won't get no more. Life's the turntable. Round and round it takes you, tempted by these labels of lust and people fables. You know, I feel artists to be taking it to the next level because we need to give anecdotes and words. You know?
Right, that's hot, brother.
You know, there's in the dictionary, there's a word called incantation. You know, I hope if people hear this, that they'll go in the dictionary and crack that word open because it means to use words in a formula, to cast spells on people.
Right.
Because a lot of us don't realize that we have spells, like spelling. When you take the ing off the end, it means spell.
Right.
You know, and we in a world where these people are using words to
that's right.
Things to people. A lot of people's wondering why they are the way that they are. It's because they gotta really begin to go inward. You know, they gotta stop going outward, looking to find who they are. They gotta go inward to.
I turn so much stuff off. If I'm on the radio, it's just a commercial, and they try and influence me. Most of the time, I turn it off. And then when they talk about diseases and medicine and you know, all of that, you know, we got to protect our subconscious mind because that stuff goes in there and then it just attracts things and just turns into other stuff like depression and all of that. But I just want to say, man, that was really hot. And you remind me now a little bit of the Last Poets, but not like you're imitating the Last Poets, but just the kind of vibe that showed that they care, but it also had a street wit, you know what I mean? So it's like from the heart and it's from the streets and it got the cadence, you know, and wisdom, you know, so I really like that. Yeah. And I like when you talk about purpose. That's big.
More than anything, being a part of the greater good is what the Warner is about, you know, and when it comes to family, and making the moves in this day and time to do those things to establish institutions. African Americans or Black people, Asiatic, whatever we want to call ourselves, we are the #1 consumers.
Right.
And we got more money coming through our communities and through our hands than any other nationality. When you check the stock market, you'll see it. We got all of them, but we don't keep nothing. Right now, we're not building. We might have some Black colleges and stuff, but we're really not building hospitals and things of that nature. And you know, like me and you was talking about it earlier, it's sad because we're going to club and we'll make it rain. We'll buy a $300 bottle of champagne. We'll spend all kinds of money up in the club and might go to some religious place and we put $5 in the basket. You know, We might even need to put some money towards our children for something, but instead of putting it towards something to help our children in their future, we'll be in a club making it rain. Our priorities and morals is way off when it comes to doing what's needed. And I think some of us as men, we got to really like recognize the ones that are maturing in that sense of, you know, doing what needs to be done in these times, not so much all of what we just want to do. You know, it's like similar to what the Bible even says. You know, so when I was a child, I had childish ways and I did childish things, but when I became a man, I had to put away those childish ways and doing those childish things, you know. And, you know, some of us gotta, you know, we gotta, like Michael Jackson say, own up to it, look in the mirror, starting with the man in the mirror. What's the other saying? We change the world by changing ourselves. We start with self, and when people see an individual doing it, our actions supposed to speak louder than words. Those that are really about it, they're gonna follow them actions. They're gonna ask questions. They're gonna say, brother, what did you do? And then you could put them on that path for the ones that really want the love, the unity, and the solidarity. You know, there's too many older brothers that I gotta tell it like it is too right now. It's like they're following the younger generation. You know, you talk about young boys running around with their pants hanging off their behind, not meaning no disrespect to any young brother. I'm just telling it like it is. That started in the prisons. That was the way that the homosexuals told other men that I'm available by wearing their pants in the prisons down around their butt. That's what that was introduced, letting men know that they're the women in the jails. But we got older brothers out here that's supposed to be leading the younger brothers, but instead they following them, you know. So it's a lot with that, with turning it around, you know. For the ones that's really about, you know, being real, you know, and turning it around, you know, we have to recognize them ones that are seriously about being real and turning, not in a negative way, in a positive way, you know. But at the same time, again, I'm realistic. You know, I'm realistic. I believe in fighting fire with water, but at the same time, I know we have to fight fire with fire. Sometimes we're gonna find out we are our own worst enemies. Some of the ones that's amongst us are worse enemies to us than some of these we might say might be Caucasian or some other nationality. That we're our own worst enemies, you know, because we're not valued, you know. We're not valued as a person or a human being for what we have in each other, you know.
And I think one of the number one things, man, is a lot of us have low self-esteem, the man and the woman, and that's because we don't realize that we're a gift from God, and we don't realize that everybody is a gift from God and has a gift from God. So whatever happens to us from the outside, we don't even look at God, think about the beauty that we have, because we like God buried down inside us somewhere, or we trying to act like he don't exist and just deal with things just with this and just, I think we just become selfish. You know, it's hard for me to explain, but I think when people start trying to find God within themselves, they'll see that, you know, most of this stuff out there don't matter. They're really beautiful inside. And
part of repenting is partly based on to our own self be true. You know, when we lie to ourselves, Rakim even made a song, and in the song he tend to speak about the maze that we go around lying and we go around doing all kinds of slick stuff. Some of us create a maze that we can't even find our own way out of, because we be so deceiving that we done deceived ourselves of our own true nature. And people become crazy like that. That's what he's saying. And people lose their mind because they're not being true to their own self. It's like they're going against their own innate nature. And that's something that, you know, we as people have to pay attention to. Another thing I hear a lot of, and I believe that they say hurt people hurt people.
Right.
How can a person give something that they don't have?
Yeah.
If they ain't never been given love, they ain't never been given kindness, you know.
That's true.
Knows what the circumstances is. Maybe their mother died young and they were raised by a father that abandoned them because he ran the streets and left them in the house, and who knows, you know, or maybe the parents were strung out on drugs, or the mother strung out on drugs and the father in jail, but no one was nurturing them with love and respect. Okay, so we come around where we grew up with that. We come to them talking that talk, and they're like, what the heck are you speaking of? Just like you speaking a foreign language. You speaking English, but they never experienced love. They never felt loved by anybody or anything, you know, where hurt people hurt people, you know.
Right.
You know,
and as you know,
we grow up in some environments that we have to look at that deeply.
Yes.
I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna let you go ahead. This gentleman told me one time, he said, a fish will never know anything wrong unless it's been taken out of the water. And I didn't get it, but then after a while it clicked. He meant, like, a lot of us are in a situation. We're in the middle of it right there. The only way we're gonna see anything is wrong until we took it out of that.
Right.
And then when we look in there, we see other people like that. We say, damn, am I like that?
Right.
I'm like that? Oh, that's to me, you know. He said a fish, you never know anything is wrong unless it's taken out of the water. You know, we grow up in environments where we don't know nothing's wrong with us.
Right.
Well, we only doing us because that's how we came up. You know, we being who we are. You know, unless somebody can hold a mirror up and begin to help us to see some things about us that need to be, you know, worked on, corrected. You know, so.
What I was going to say is, as you know, I work with inner city and suburban at-risk children, mostly disturbed, and, you know, including Bloods, Crips, MS-13, and stuff like that. Grape. That's how I know. Who knows about a grape? You know what I'm saying? But unless you're in that world. And yeah. And the reason for, like, praise God, I never got hurt. And I must have had at least 100 restraints, you know what I'm saying? But also, I've had a lot of successes, and that is because I let them know that I love them. I let them know I care for them. They say, why you care? What you care? So I love you. And most of them like, what? You know, and that's when they start humbling down, and then the man comes out, the truth comes out. They might act wild and crazy, but after that, the man starts coming out. So look at this. You know, it happens every time. They just need to know somebody loves them. You know?
Yeah. You know, I know a lot of our youth, that's what they yearn for real. For people to let them know that they care and really to show them love. I mean, in their environments more than anything, you know, we got a lot of stuff going on in society to whereas it's like you could ride into your car into one environment, you're in hell. And then ride into the next environment, you're in heaven, you know.
Yeah.
Even the grass, they putting down new grass.
Right.
Immediately. They don't even get a chance to see no dirt. You know, and then you ride in the next environment, they ain't got no money for even a pothole or nothing, you know, to keep the streets clean, none of that. You know, there's environments that are like heaven and hell, and then it's all over the United States, you know, where you ride around and you see it. They got money for this environment, and there's no money for that environment. And you got millionaires that are really nothing today, because there's so many billionaires.
Right.
Got people with they're trillionaires that could walk into a community and say, I want that whole community to change. They got that kind of money, and they won't even put a dent in the kind of money that they're generating.
That's right.
Businesses that they own and their affiliations, you know, but it's tactful, you know, that, you know, I mean, for us as Black men, African American men, we gotta begin to come together, humble ourselves, and just do the work from where we stand at, and let others come and join in. You know, it's like the story of Noah. You know, God just gave him instructions to build the ark. You know, if people about it, they're gonna jump on board. You know, if they ain't about it, then they're not gonna jump on board.
Right.
What we have to do is keep doing the work that we know that we're being assigned to do.
Amen.
You know, and some people ain't meant to jump on board because the ship, relationship, friendship, partnership, you know, whatever ship, everybody ain't jumping on ship to even roll forward with you. Some people jump on the ship to roll backwards to make it harder for you.
Right,
Other ones,
true.
when your back turn, they drilling a hole in
That's right.
in the boat. You know, when you thinking they working with you, they drilling holes, you know, in it. You know, and you know, we gotta recognize those ones that everybody that's like they say in your circle or standing even next to you might be with you, but they really not with you. They're with you, but they're not with you.
Somebody told me most of the Malcolm people around Malcolm was FBI and cops and agents and provocateurs, and he probably ain't know. He probably knew some of them might be, but they supposed to be protecting him.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't know if I had said it before about my grandmother. You know, I think I did, and she was telling me, "Don't watch the people cross the street, Ronnie. Watch the people that stand next to you.
Right.
It ain't the ones that cross the street that's gonna stab you in the back, you know." And it's a saying of our ancestors and most wise people of elder age anyway. They said the ones that gonna hurt you the most are the ones that's the closest to you. You know.
That's true. I mean, and it's really, it's natural. Even the ones with good intentions, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
They're not even trying to hurt you, but they just say something or do something and it hurts you because you love them. Yeah. You know, it's like, oh,
innocent, in an innocent way, I can accept that. But there's some also that we have to pay attention to, that it ain't no innocence. They're not gonna come back and apologize. They're gonna act like they were foolish and do it again. Oh, I didn't mean to do it, and do it all over again. And then do it again. You know, where, you know, the first time, okay, but the second time, I'm not gonna blame myself for giving you that opportunity to do that again.
No. Well, Rakim said one mistake you're out, and sometimes he said no mistakes allowed. You know, that's where I'm at right now. Like, you know, there's mistakes and there's errors. No errors allowed.
Rakim said the knowledge is knowing the ledge. You know, we gain knowledge to get to a certain point that other people might not be up there at that level of consciousness where we can see this stuff, you know, and if that's to know the ledge, you know, because it's a lot of things out here in this society where a lot of people they don't know the way, and if we're not careful, we could have a blind leading us talking about you know, we know we smart, we intelligent, we wise, we whatever, and we following the blind, you know.
Well, one of the best advices that somebody gave me that my ego didn't want to hear when I was I'll call myself a street astrologer as a teen. He said, because he was a Sunni, you know, and his brother Ishmael from Englewood, Teaneck. His father, he was a bellman, but he said, my father said, all you need is the Holy Quran. Instead of all that, yo, the black man in the middle is out of planet. He said, my father said, all you need is the Holy Quran. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and I kept coming to me over time. All that fancy schmancy, man, just open up the Quran, let Allah talk to you.
And with all of us, you know, it's an ayat in the Quran that speaks about the importance of patience. Well, then hold up. There's so many ayats in the Quran that speak about the importance of patience, like the Bible.
Your brother sent me Surah 11, verse 11 today. He emailed that to me. It was all about patience. Yeah.
Yeah. Because patience reveals things.
Ooh.
You know, a person could say, they could say a whole lot of things, but sometimes when you patient, you might see the audio don't match the video. When you step
Damn.
back and you look, you know, they
Ooh.
saying one thing, you know.
I like that.
You know,
The audio
part
don't
of
match the video.
part of the knowledge, part of the things with knowledge with us in this day and time should be producing growth and development, you know, not just because, you know, we have to be honest with ourselves, even me too, you know, when it comes to truth and looking in the mirror, sometimes we could see children inside adult bodies. And sometimes them ones refuse to look in the mirror. They're
Right.
running around right here, right now, and you could see them clear as day. They're literally children inside adult bodies.
Right.
That just refuse to grow up.
Right.
They don't want to hear nothing. They'll step off if you bring up anything based on life and life's terms and responsibilities and what's needed and all that. All right, I'm gonna check y'all out. You know, 'cause they don't want to hear nothing real. They don't want to hear nothing real.
Yeah, all of a sudden they like this, man. Gotta go.
And that's the stuff that help us, you know, really properly grow and develop for us, like men or children, males growing into boys, from boys to teenagers to young adults into manhood. You know, there's certain information that brings about proper growth and development. You know, Imam Pasha, Rahim Allah Lake, may Allah be pleased with him. He used to say that all the time. He said, you know, we have to be careful of being the child that never completes a mission. You know, he said it's from the day your mother give you a piece of paper to go grocery shopping, and we're going to the store, and all the candy is in the front. She gave us the money and the note, and when we come back, we got crumbs around our mouths, so much change missing, you know. But the mission, what makes sometimes life's missions complicated is that we don't do what we're supposed to do, or we get distracted with doing what we want to do with that child. You got to get past all that candy that's in front of the store first, before he can get to the back where the eggs and the bread in the middle. So you don't complete his mission. You come home, you know.
And that's part of the reason we went to the store. We was happy to go because we gonna get us a treat.
Yeah,
I go to the store,
you know,
mommy. Yeah. That's funny,
that's
but that's what Big Mama would say. Big Mama say, finish what you start. Right?
Yeah,
Boy, finish what you start.
Then we can talk about that. Yeah, then we'll talk about you want what is it you want to do or whatever. Then we'll talk about that. First, finish what the assignment I gave you.
That's
thing
right.
I told you.
I did that to a student today. They was waiting for their phones. I give them their phones at the end of the day. You ain't finished that. You ain't gonna fall behind. Yeah, he looked like everybody else got their phones. I was like, you gonna finish that. Then you get your phone. Sure.
You know, but winding it
Yes,
down,
sir.
you know, only thing I want to say is, Kamal, I commend you, brother, for your consistency for as long as I've known you, from when we were in our teens, brother. You know, and we used to meet at Rick's, and a lot of people don't even know anything about Rick. He was one of the members of the group Mass Production, made the track Firecracker and so on.
Right.
You know, we went back a long ways, and we still, you know, around each other, feeding off of each other's energy, you know. And I believe life has purpose. You know, I remember coming to your house and being in the basement with you, kicking it up downstairs at your house over in China. I was there, you know. Yeah, being downstairs in your basement where you had your spot at, you know.
Wow.
You know, but to be consistent and continuously doing, even with the missteps.
Right.
Even with the missteps.
Right.
You know, I value you, brother.
Thank you.
And a lot of people in my life now, I tell them that purposefully, due to the loss of a brother, Imam Rashad, that was of our Islamic community of Masjid Salahuddin. And that brother was, it's like we're here today and going today, not going tomorrow. We could be here today and going today. And a lot of us don't realize who we have amongst us and how we should cherish the lives of each other, especially when we know that they're important to us. Why talk about how important that person was to us after they're gone? And why we don't even try to recognize them. We got to recognize what God has given us. What He's given us is our own life, and He's given us certain people in our life that everybody can't be as close as you would want them to be, but sometimes God puts some people in your life where He telling you you need to be using the ones right here with you that
That's
we take for granted. We take for granted some relationships, man. We get caught up in materialism. Oh, that brother ain't got a car like I got. He don't got the jewelry I got, but they don't know what your real values are in the inside, where they not valuing the person. With me, I know this for a fact personally. I don't mind opening up and allowing myself to be a little bit vulnerable with certain people that I feel I should, because material things, man, it ain't like we pack a bag coming here. We're not gonna pack a bag, and we're not gonna be packing a U-Haul truck when we leave. Ain't gonna be connected to our casket. So if we cherish each other in life, we should make good memories together. We should do things to try to create an impact in the world, so that we're remembered by it. In Islam, there's a thing called sadaqah jariyah, meaning like if you plant an orange tree or apple tree or grapevine or whatever, long after you're gone, people eating them oranges and them apples and them grapes, and you gaining benefit because we planted them. We're gaining benefit. And it's the same thing with today and the things that we do in the world, that we try to establish things that long after we're gone, instead of giving your child a pair of shoes, try to open a shoe factory. So that you putting shoes on the generations to come after them long after we're gone, establishing these things. That's what our mosque is about. It's about us passing it on to the next generation, like Imam Pasha, Rahimullah, they pass it on to us holding it up and not losing it, so that the next generations, and after we're gone, they pass it on to, so that we're gaining all that benefit, God willing, God, because that's the hereafter.
Yes, sir.
That's the here after we're gone.
Right, pausing, so I have a person, a little noise. So I just pause for a second, but it's kind of quiet. All right, yeah, brother. So hopefully, inshallah, we get a lot more of this in the near future, man. Regardless of what we call the format, as long as we get our hawk out, the truth, And I want to say that I love you too.
The brother's gonna work it out. The brother's gonna work it out. Thing is what it's about, man. It's what it's about, man.
Right. I want to say I love you too, brother, and thank you for everything. And for a moment there, you was looking like Imam Pasha for a second. That was my spirit, my first eye, so spiritual thing. Yeah, so that's a beautiful thing. I said, all right, he deposited his wisdom in us. You know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful thing. And yeah, it's about legacy, man. And that's what all the Black men and women got to know. It's not about, you're cute. Let me just say this real quick. It's like my grandparents, man, like when they passed, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't that hard to let them go, because they traveled around the world. It saved their money, and they traveled around the world, and they partied a lot, and they enjoyed life. So they were happy. My grandfather died in Aruba, you know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause they had a timeshare there and stuff like that. Now I'm losing my point. Wow. Let me try to get this point back. Well, I guess it'll come to me, but what I'll say is that in regards to them is, yo, if we live in a good life, if well, they left us a legacy. They left us a legacy, and they tried to leave a legacy, and not just physical things, but just that spirit and the family and stuff like that. And it's like I feel good about my ancestors because of that vibration, and just people, just like you said, people need to find the happiness inside of them that outside of the money. We need the money really for the kids. You know what I'm saying? We we got to do some things and treat ourselves to some things, but we need the money for the future. And we shouldn't. I mean, I never want my child to inherit a job per se, unless that's what he wants. You know what I'm saying? I don't want him to struggle the way I struggle and deal with the dichotomy that we deal with when we have to go from the Black community into the white community and then back to the Black community, and we got to kind of change like a chameleon in certain ways, like a split personality. I don't want that. So we got to understand. Oh, that's what I was gonna say about my people. So they had a lot of photographs, photo albums, and you got the black and whites, and my grandmother was in the women's club. My grandfather was a veteran, so they had a big, fraternity, sorority, and big network of people. Now these people were middle class, and they were dressed to the nine, and they were partying, and sometimes there's pictures of them on the beach. So everybody's sexy and everybody's high class, but they're all gone physically. They're gone. So like when I see people nowadays, like, I'm such and such, I'm all that, I'm pretty, I'm sexy, that's gonna wear off. And you're gonna be gone. So what's the legacy that you left for the future? Sexy and cute, and I got money, that's gonna fade as transitory.
That's right.
So that's what we got to get out of me. It's not about that.
And some of the knowledge that we have been blessed to possess for ourselves through people that we may have even come in contact with, even if we ain't went to school and got a bachelor's and doctorate and all that type of stuff, we've been blessed with a mind that gives us all our own unique values and so on. Collectively, it's minds that brought us out of living in caves, living in jungles, having to have to burn torches,
right?
Like sleeping on the ground to now living in houses, flicking light switches,
right.
And so on. Got a remote control, all this stuff. And this is from the mind and knowledge. Man has evolved internally through knowledge into the people that we are today. But we got to recognize that all these things we made, they didn't make us.
Right.
Man made these things. These things didn't make man. And a lot of us, we don't understand a true essence of spirit or a true essence of soul. And I say that to say this. My grandmother told me, because of my father was the one that was quick to shoot and quick to cut. He was mean. My father was mean. He was a bootlegger. He started off as a bootlegger. Then over time, as times went on, he became an after-hour person. He had after hours in Washington, Ohio, in Paterson. He had after hours all over. That was his thing. He sold liquor and beer and ran after-hour clubs. That's all he did. Here's his own. He couldn't read and write or none of that, but this is what he did. But anyway, my grandmother seen some of his ways in me when I was younger, and said, Ronnie, don't be a person that dig your grave while you're alive. I didn't get it then, but I get it now. You know, for some of us, the spirit dies, man, inside of us, you know, and it's like me, I'm careful now, if never before, who I connect to in the sense of proper communication, if you want to call it, having healthy relationships and all that type of stuff, because the soul is part of a gauge for how you interact with people spiritually.
Amen.
We can all say that we're spiritual, but what kind of spirit you got in you? Okay, you're spiritual. You good spirit, bad spirit, demonic spirit, I don't know. You know, but I gotta protect my soul so that my spirit can attach and feed off of right things. Just like you feed off of certain knowledge, food for thought, you know, certain interaction with people, you know, and we got to protect our soul. For me, that's where I'm at. I'm protecting my soul because everybody's spirit ain't, you know, I don't know. Maybe they need some healing. They need some praying, some meditating, some whatever it is, soul searching, or whatever. But what they got inside them is bad for them. And I could see that it's bad for me. So I'm not going to let them have me feed off of that.
I know a preacher that say you're supposed to be spiritual, but you mean as a pit bull with hot sauce in your mouth.
You know, I know we created perfect, and I believe this in our imperfections. We're created perfect. God ain't make no mistake with none of us. But because we're given free will, we gotta be careful.
That's right.
With interaction.
That's right. Very careful.
It's just because we're human. Because we're human. It's only because we're human. And nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna try to be perfect. I would say anybody, you know, looking out for people and keeping your eyes and staying aware of people that you have in your circle. At the same time, if you really care about them and they're really your close friend, you know, you're gonna pull their coat if something don't seem right to check on them, because otherwise you don't care about them. Otherwise you don't give a darn about them. You know, if you're not gonna pull their coat and so on. Same thing with a family member. You know, it's like it's certain ways and actions that we display that really show if we care, you know, about people. You know, so having people in my circle, that's what I look for, because if they're around you, like if you want to use terms like a season and a reason, and then after the season or the reason passed, they're gone. They really wasn't around you for you. It's because you had some money in your pocket, you was driving that car, that particular car, you was socializing with these certain people. Not to say people don't use people. You got to be using people for good reasons, right reasons. I don't mind being used by somebody. Don't let me find out you using me for a wrong reason, because you know, it's like you said it before in your video. I'm gonna take the trash out, and I'm gonna put it out, and it's gonna stay out. You know, it's for somebody else to pick up. You know, if they want it. You know, in this day and time, we gotta be men and women and do things that really we know we need to be doing. We need to be doing. You know, the wants is things we'll get to do, but sometimes we gotta make sacrifices. We want businesses, we want whatever it is, we gotta put the needs before the want and make certain sacrifices.
Right. Wow. I would say that what is your mission? Not your, but all of us. What is your mission from God? What is your mission from Allah? What are you here on earth for? That's what you got to tune into. You know, that's what's important. Because else we running around on the wrong path, thinking we're on the right path. So, Brother Malik, Lawana, thank you so very much, brother. And inshallah, we'll have this out in 24 hours or less. And so it could bless the world. And hopefully we have a lot more, man, because I want, this well to keep continuing so people can drink from it and hopefully become more enlightened and saved. So thank you very much once again, and we will speak soon. All right.
All right.
Assalamu
Been
alaikum.
honored and thank you. Wa alaikum assalam.
All right.
Get in the cipher. You are now watching Bless the Mic Ciphers, where the hottest artists on the planet get in the cipher. So get in the cipher. Let's go! Bless the mic. Bless the mic, yo. Let's go.